So the deliciousness of Republicans behaving badly and being exactly who they are is one of my favorite topics. Our beloved Moses Mike, who is the biggest hypocrite nut job on planet Earth. So Trump says he wants to go after the enemy from within. Well, guess who starts that? NPR and Planned Parenthood, which Planned Parenthood does a lot more than provide access to abortion in certain states. It provides women's health care for women without insurance. It provides family planning. It provides birth control, treatment for cancer. I mean, it does so many things for people that cannot afford health care in this country. And this is his response on his beloved Fox News.
Two specific examples, Planned Parenthood and PBS, are in congressional control. Are you planning to axe both of those?
I would like to, that's for sure.
Spending for both of those?
Yeah, we got to build consensus to have the votes to do that. Now, some of this will be done by executive order out of the White House.
Absolutely.
He has a broad authority to do a lot of that.
Yes.
But where Congress is involved, that's where it takes the hard work of legislating and getting everybody on the same page. So there'll be lots of ideas that come out. We don't want to put too many of it out right now, okay? But this is part of that, preparing the playbook to unleash and unroll in January.
And I misspoke. It was PBS, not NPR. That was my bad. So, I mean, I'm just like, really? You're going after PBS? I mean, the home of Downton Abbey? Really? That's what you're worried about? You don't want women to have health care, yet you're so pro-life, but if women die, who gives a shit? I mean, the hypocrisy infuriates me.
I've been thinking a lot about what all of these appointments are. And I think that what they're doing is they're putting out all these shiny objects for podcasters and journalists and, news anchors, opinion shows to grab onto. Because what they want to do is they want to cut services that are provided for people that need them. Social Security, they're all frothing at the mouth to go after. They're throwing out PBS right now, but what the big chunk of what they want to do is go after Social Security. So you have all of these people that sit at home and freebase Fox News who need this money. And these are working class people. And somehow MAGA has convinced them that we are the party of working class people. And they're all about to find out that they're not the party of working class people. They are the party of the oligarchy. And how did they get the working class people on board? Because all they have to do is say, well, God this, Jesus Christ, my Lord and personal Savior that. And a lot of these working class people are church attending folks. And they believe that Moses Mike and even Pete Hegseth, I saw on Megyn Kelly's podcast, he was saying, I was a mess and all of these things, but I found my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
I heard that.
That doesn't mean anything. That means nothing. When somebody says, I found my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, this guy has found his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and he wants to cut and privatize Social Security that provides care for people that paid into it. And this is how they retire. And this party is so inherently evil that they use something that for a lot of working class people, church is the only thing they have in the rural towns that they live in. And it's a guiding principle in their life. I'm not a churchgoer because I see how manipulative it's been to rope in all of these people. And he is the worst. But the thing about this guy is he's really insane. This guy is a really insane person. Like, he believes the earth is 5,000 to 6,000 years old. He thinks dinosaurs, man, lived on the earth at the same time. He's monitoring his son's porn. He had this teenage kid that he adopted that's now kind of disappeared. There's just all this shady stuff, the ring, purity ring for his daughter. And so this is not a serious Speaker of the House. And I don't know why other members, Democratic members of the House, are not just eviscerating him for these radical ideas. They always say, oh, the left is so radical. What's so radical right now is that he's the Speaker of the House.
Right.
That is the most radical thing I've ever seen. This guy is a complete religious fanatic, a total fanatic that says on camera that God talks to him all the time.
He's so detached from reality. He thinks he's Moses from the Bible. And nobody seems to give a shit. Like, that's just totally normal.
I feel like you and I are the only people that talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be like if I said, I think I am Mother Mary from the Bible. Like, people would say she needs help. Not this guy. We parade him around in leadership for the Republicans. I mean, it is so disturbing. It just is so gross.
Well, and they trot out this language, which is language to send to the base. Oh, they found Jesus.
Right. Here's
the deal. Pete Hegseth could find Jesus, not find Jesus. He's still going to be a dick.
Right.
Period. I mean, it's this whole like shortcut thing that people think, oh, I found Jesus. Unless you've done real work on yourself and real work on your addiction and found humility, the finding Jesus thing is just a performative thing that feeds this message to the base that, oh, okay, because I'll tell you, everybody that I've ever met that looks me in the eye and says, Jesus Christ is my Lord and personal Savior is literally one of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever met in my life. I just use that as a complete red flag. When somebody feels the need to say that in a public space, I know that they're probably racist. They believe racist style things. And it's it's a short circuiting of actually doing real work that then prompts enlightenment to a person.
It precludes enlightenment.
Right.
Because you think all I have to do is say, oh, well, I found Jesus, so now I'm good. No, you're the exact same person. You're talking. There's no action behind that. So it completely grosses me out. Speaking of Pete Hegseth, one of my other favorite hypocrites, just talk in circles. You are just despicable. Rick Scott goes on TV and says, oh, we absolutely need to hear from these women that allege sexual misconduct against Pete Hegseth. Jake Tapper asks him a question. I want you to listen to his answer.
That these anonymous sources say these things without willing to go on your show or some show, and have you asked them all the questions?
A point that you're making here, the woman who accuses Pete of raping her in 2017, although the police, we should note, did not charge him with any crime. That woman, Pete Hegseth, paid her money and she signed a non-disclosure agreement, so she can't come on my show to talk about it. Do you think Pete should release her from the NDA so that I can ask her the questions that you want me to?
Absolutely not. There's so many.
Is he kidding?
No, he's not. This is the thing. This is what just enrages me so much is they continue without ever really genuinely being branded as religious psycho hypocrites, because the Democrats, for some reason, are too scared to touch it. And this is my fundamental problem. For decades now, the Republican Party has injected religion into the American psyche and into the American political discourse, so much so that now in a state like ours, you have the Bible being taught in a public school with zero pushback from the state legislature or the governor, because they're all religious whack jobs as well.
Right.
And so this requires a response, a really big response. And Democrats are too chicken shit to call out religion. And when you look at it, when you look at the megachurch culture and the far-right Catholics, how insidious it is and how morally bankrupt it is. You have these huge megachurches that grift off of their congregation. It's all about making money. They take Venmo. They have these horrible architecture churches, trickled and peppered all over the United States of America. And this whole anti-abortion thing, that it's murder and all this shit, it started in the 70s. And somehow they have been able to message via churches, the Republican Party has, Jesus is pro-guns, big capitalist, blonde hair, white skin, blue eyes, hates abortion at all costs, even if it's life-saving, doesn't really care about protecting children and labor laws, regulations that could help the people from maybe getting poisoned by corporations that don't do enough checks. No, Jesus is not into any of that. And it has been the biggest hoodwink ever. And they have weaponized religion into the political discourse. And it has basically gone unanswered by the Democratic Party for decades. They don't come out of the gate swinging. The Republican Party is full of a bunch of religious hypocrites and use the teachings or whatever it is. And not in my faith and Jesus tells me, blah, 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 just saying, whatever your faith tells you, it is the right thing to do the best that we can for the most amount of people. It is immoral that people file for medical bankruptcy while they're dying and can't go to the hospital. But the Republican Party and all these mega churches and the Southern Baptist Coalition and all these whack jobs have gotten you to believe that that's okay. So your faith is gross to us. Your faith grosses us out. And I wish that they would just properly attack back to this religious attack that's happened in the country. It just goes completely unanswered. Completely.
The easiest way to get the churches to stay out of politics would be to take their tax-exempt status away. Because right now, churches have tax-exempt status based on the fact that they do not engage politically. Well, that's completely gone by the wayside. So that's a perfect way to start. But nobody seems to be interested in doing that. I agree with you. I mean, it starts with how the Republicans have messaged to the fundamentalist Christians, for sure. It's gross.
It is injected completely. We live in the epicenter of it, in the absolute epicenter of it, and the moral duplicity that these people are able to live in. They have houses full of guns, mouths full of the N-word, Fox News blaring on TV, but boy, Jesus is their Lord and Savior. I mean, shut up. Like you're an insane person. You're literally absolutely batshit crazy. And the ringleader of that is Mike Johnson. You think Trump, when he's behind the scenes with Elon Musk, you think they even respect Moses Mike even the slightest bit? No, they think he's a total nut. Even the nuttiest of nuts think Mike Johnson is a huge nut. But I mean, this is today's Republican Party, right. MAGA.
Here's MAGA. The crazier you are, the better. The more homophobic, racist, misogynistic, the more we like you. It's a sight to behold and not in a good way.
All right, guys, we'll see you guys later.